Time to get your spiritual glow on, my wonderful ones, in this week's energy reading for the week of, let me just get it right, April 15th until April 21st. No new moon, no full moon. We're going straight into the week of the full moon next week. So hopefully this week is going to be a little bit nicer. So let's tap into next week's energies to supercharge your personal growth. If this is your very first time tuning into my readings, hi, my name is May. I'm an energy coach, cyber witch, and I help empathic and highly sensitive entrepreneurs harness the wisdom of Hawaiian philosophy and shamanic energy work to not only cope with external energies, but also to discover their true selves and step into their, what I like to call, divine brilliance. I believe all of us, we have this divine brilliance, and we're just like, a lot of the times, it's just a little step away from stepping into that. And that's where I come in and help you, to support you with that. I'm also very thrilled, before we get started into the reading, into everything, and we open up the ritual space, because I really call in our energetic support system. But before we go into that, I'm thrilled to share with you something truly special with you. As part of keeping my podcast vibrant and alive, I like to explore unique opportunities to not just for us to grow together, but also to support the show. And one of these opportunities that I found is the My $1 Million Experiment from Joanna Hunter. It's an amazing project, and it's groundbreaking social experiment designed to unlock the potential of mindset and intuition in wealth creation. And by joining this program through my affiliate link that you'll find below the video or in the show notes, you're not only embarking on a journey to possibly transform your financial future, but you're also playing a crucial role in supporting this podcast. It's a win-win to take a step towards your $1 million dream, and you help keep this podcast running. So let's embrace this wonderful adventure. I have to tell you, when I got into this program a couple of months ago, that was $25 for a whole year of extremely, incredibly wonderful mindset work for yourself, for your abundance. And I think the price is still there. It's the same price. So, maybe for you, it's the same as for me. It's a very, it's a no-brainer to just get started, to just jump and go for it. And one other thing that I do before we get started, I'll explain all the cards once we move over to my to my card table. But until then, I always like to call in our spiritual guidance, and to really open up the ritual space for all of us. So let's take a moment to breathe, to connect ourselves within our own system. And let's call in our spiritual guidance, Father Heaven, Mother Earth, all the energies supporting us from this plane and other planes, our ancestral energies, our animal energies, like our totem animals, but also our para animals that support us, that guide us, with us all the time. Our spiritual teachers, healers, friends that are out there, our spiritual family that helps us on an energetic level as well. And of course, as always, the 4 elements and the 4 directions. Let's call them all in to support us in this week's reading of the energies. Thankfully, we're not going to be having to dwell into a full moon, new moon. It's, the moon is growing, so it's all set on the energy of growth that we can use for ourselves. But let's see what Spirit has to say and what they have to tell us. Thank you so much to everyone. I feel the room getting crowded, everybody coming in. Thank you so much for all the spiritual energies that are supporting us. And help us bless this week with the right words in receiving and in giving. Let's be open. Let's be open for the energies that want to guide us through this week and the words that they want to give us. All right, let's move over to my card table. So for those of you tuning in for the first time, up here we have the deck for the general week. And usually if we have a full moon or new moon, I'll put a second deck up here. But since this week, that's it. So we're focusing on the moon phases, and that's it. So we have our moon is growing and becoming full. So that's a good sign. That's a good week to be creative and to be, building up things. So that's the one up here. And then down here are the personal messages. So we have my beautiful rose quartz here for you. Andine rose quartz, rose opal. I think it's an opal, rose opal up here. Then I have a bay leaf, beautiful bay leaf in the center. And the cinnamon stick here on the right hand side. So feel into whichever of these three resonate with you most. They're going to have your personal message. And I know I say this every time, but I think I'm saying it because it's important. It might be just one, but it might be two or three. So if it feels right to you that it's more than just one of them, then please go for that. All right. That's always, your intuition is always going to tell you how many you're going to need of these. And if you need more time to feel into it, take a breather, take a moment, pause the video, pause the audio, from wherever you're tuning in, and take a moment to reflect for yourself, to really feel into it. Little disclaimer for in between. I know that, we have these personal messages, 1, 2, 3, that you can choose of for yourself. And I have been asked if I can, put under the video, when does, the message for 1, for 2, or 3 start? And I've realized that I don't want to, not because it will make life a lot easier. And nowadays I'll probably find some AI that can help me with that. But why I don't do it is because sometimes I'm channeling through all those messages, and sometimes I'll channel something through for, let's say my cinnamon stick or my rose quartz that someone else, Andine opal, that when I channel that message coming through, it can still be a support to the person that has a different reading. Meaning, because I sometimes channel messages through with the cards, but it doesn't have to just be for that card, for that card deck. So I leave it open so that everybody can just, enjoy all of them. You'll know which ones are specifically for you, and you'll know which of the extra messages you can get from the other card decks. That's why I don't do that part. And of course, I hope you enjoy with me the final quote that I add on every episode at the end. So yeah, it's always nice. I hope that you tune into all three messages so you don't miss out on the beautiful quote, because a lot of the times, even I am surprised how well that quote fits into the whole reading. It's amazing. And it's sort of like a blessing that I like to share with you before leaving you into the week. So that's my reason behind it. I hope you understand. I hope you feel the feels, and I hope you feel the energy from this readings. And now let's go back to the reading. All right. So let's get started with the general message of the whole week. And these are these beautiful cards that we have up here. And we're going to get started with celebrate yourself. Look at this beautiful card. Celebrate yourself, all that you are, all that you have achieved, and all that you will achieve. All right. The more you celebrate in the now, the more the universe will deliver even more things like that. That's why I always love when we're reminded to celebrate, because celebrate is just a great way for ourselves to bring us into the positive mindset. All right. The second card that we have for this week is Odin, Psychic Insight. Your third eye is open. See truth for what it is. Follow your intuition. Here's another one that I just mentioned. Follow your intuition. Follow your, that voice inside of you that's calling you, that's telling you where to go. It's okay to trust it. And the second card that we have is the Moon. Take note of intuitive messages. Again, see how this is going. It's telling you, take note of it. It's a double intuitive. All right. And the third card that we're getting is True manifestations are powered by service and love. True manifestations are powered by service and love. How can you best serve your community, your people, everyone around you? All right. So I really enjoy these cards because, I mean, look at this. So we have the double intuitive part in here that is calling us. And, you know, celebrating ourselves helps us to bring us into the right vibes, you know, and one of the things that comes up, if it feels right for you, or if it feels harder for you to really trust your intuition, then why not, you know, and this is why I love having the Celebrate Yourself card here, because why don't you, you know, take note of the moments where the universe was giving you something, you know, where the universe delivered something to you, where you follow your intuition. Look into it, and you're probably gonna, you know, have that, you know, the more you do, you practice following your intuition is good, but sometimes we forget, and we're like in this hole, and we forget that we can follow our intuition, and we feel like, oh no, I keep having these feelings, but then I don't do what I'm supposed to, and then nothing goes right. Trust me, the more you celebrate, you bring in that gratitude for moments that you've already had, that's going to change a lot of things. And I want to share this story that my shamanic teacher, my Hawaiian teacher actually gave to me 5 years ago. And that it sort of helped have that view from the outside world. It was my Hawaiian teacher, you know, we were talking about things, and I kept telling her about, you know, certain things that had happened in my life and how they had, you know, brought me basically to that moment to be there on that island with her. And she just said, oh, you've always been very guided. And of course I knew that I was guided, because I mean, I had already had how many years of shamanic practice, you know, behind me, but having a third person say that out loud helped me to put my focus on it more. And here's where, again, why the Celebrate Yourself card is so important, because after that, I sort of integrated it more. Not that I didn't do it before, but it felt like, you know how sometimes it just feels like it's an extra little step that you do. And it just felt like I was focusing more on those moments where actually guidance had happened. The intuition had really helped me, you know, be there, really feeling like, oh, so this is that, remember that time, that's what it felt like to be guided and to be following that guidance, and then going like practicing that more. All right. So I hope by sharing this, I hope that you see the reminder here, even though if you don't see it right now, because, you know, we receive these reminders because something inside of us might be focusing somewhere else. All right. So that's a very good direction to follow. All right, let's dive into the personal messages. And if you resonated with my wonderful rose opal, ending rose opal, then these are your personal messages for you. And we're getting started with, let's see what we got for you. We have stop and dance. Take a break and celebrate yourself and your successes. So for you, my beautiful soul, this is a double. You're double celebrating yourself. All right. So you have to, you know, go way out of something, gift yourself something. This is like, it's time to dance, to celebrate everything that you've done so far. And the second one that's coming in for you is autumn, release and old and rest. Release the old and rest. So celebrate yourself, release anything that's stopping you. Maybe there's something stopping you from celebrating yourself, all right? So release that, find a way to do that. Look into what wants to come up. And the third card that we have for you, my greatest spiritual shifts don't come through force. They come through freedom. My greatest spiritual shifts don't come through force. They come through freedom. Isn't that a beautiful card? Where can you find freedom, my beautiful soul? You have the card to release the old. So by releasing that, you are already creating, you know, by releasing the old, you create more freedom for yourself and then you can stop and celebrate. Can you do that? Is that going to be helpful for this week? I hope so very much. Leading these wonderful cards for you. All right, let's move on to this next one. And this is, if you resonated with this beautiful bay leaf, then these are your personal messages. And we have here for you the mind proof. Your mind will be convinced that it is right, even if it's not. What is your mind trying to convince you of that does not correspond to your inner truth? I love these things. You know, that's the typical one when your brain starts saying, oh no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Are you sure? You don't know. It's not a fact, right? It's something your brain is trying to tell you. Or when it says you're not enough. Who said that? How do you know? Where do you measure that? Right? Your brain is trying to tell you things that are not truth. They are not the truth. They're not your truth. If they are your truth, then you have to work on those, of course. But it's always a good thing to look into what is your mind trying to tell you. Because your mind, usually it's that part inside of you that wants to go, that created certain patterns for yourself so that you can, feel things, not too strong, or so that you can be protected. All right. But you're a grown up right now. Probably if you're listening to this, you can look into your mind and look at it, be an observer of your mind and observe where it's going in what direction and how you can, support that. Oh, wow, you have two. For you, we even have two ancestral cards. The second one that we have for you is the Knight. Be brave and honest. Be brave and honest. I feel like, especially after the first card, this card doesn't need much more explanation. And the third card that we have for you is the High Priest. Intend and create. Intend and create, my beautiful soul. That's so important. So after checking your mind, after checking what direction is it going, redirect it to where you want it to go, and then start creating, my beautiful soul, because you have that creative power inside of you. All right. And the fourth card for you is I am patient, knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. Bring that in. Bring that patience in. And I know if we get the patience card, I know that's a hard one, because the patience card is like, it's so hard. Like, why? I want it to happen right now. I want it to happen right away. But hey, guys, the more patience we practice, the faster things happen. And I can tell you from personal experience, the more you focus on, being your true self, being grounded with yourself in the now, not going because every time, being impatient is also a form of lack. That's a lack energy. All right. And if you resonated with my wonderful, beautiful cinnamon stick, then these are your personal messages. And we are getting started with involve yourself. What can you do today to get closer to your wishes and dreams? Involve yourself, my beautiful soul. What can you do to get closer to your wishes and dreams? What's the one step you can do? And if it's not a full step, make a half step, make a quarter of a step. But you know what it means? It's about creating for yourself. Instead of, just sitting there waiting for the universe to deliver, start making your first steps towards the right direction. And sometimes it's about not just, making that physical first step. Sometimes it's about, the first step being following your intuition, right? Like it says up here, or the first step being to celebrate yourself, everything that you've done. Sometimes the first step can be some inner work before it becomes even bigger, right? And one of the things that I love is because, especially for us as empaths, we have this tendency to fall into different categories of emotions, depending on where we're sitting. But it's on us to redirect it to the direction where we want to go, because we can wallow, we can give ourselves a pity party, a whole day. But it's important for us to then, once we've done that, if we needed it, redirect ourselves, because we can. And that's a part of involvement. We can, if you need a pity party, do that for an hour, for two, for a whole day if necessary, but then step out of it. It's an intention that you set. All right. And the next card that we have for you is the drum, dream, and journey. All right. Take a moment, dream of where you want to go, and journey all of that. Journey and envision. This is actually confirming what I just said about, the more you envision, the more you bring your soul into the direction where you want to go, then that's what's going to happen. All right. And last but not least, when I live and act from a place of spiritual alignment, I can trust that everything is working out for me, even if I don't know when or how it will happen. When I live and act from a place of spiritual alignment, I can trust that everything is working out for me, even if I don't know when or how it will happen. And this is what I meant. Align yourself, bring yourself in alignment with the energy surrounding you, and then start creating. Align yourself where you want to go. That's a lot of the times, that's the first step that we can take, is to align ourselves. What does your vision look like? Where do you want to be? Like, where do you want to go? Let's not give it a when, and let's not give it a how. Let's just give it that's what I want it to look like. That's what I want it to be. Wow, what beautiful reminders we always get from the universe. I really enjoy doing these readings with you, and I hope you enjoyed them as well as I did too. Thank you so much for vibing with today's reading. That was really magical, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I'd love to hear which of these really went boom for you, really gave you an aha moment. So leave it in the comments for me. I'd love to hear that. As always, I'd like to finish with a quote to leave you with something for the week. And before I mention this quote today, it's going to be Paulo Coelho's quote. And before I go into that, I hope you have a blessed week. I hope you can take all these beautiful energies with you and enjoy them. Hold them in your heart. Use them as a support. Mostly that. Use them as a support. Here's the sentence for you. Your inner fire is your most powerful resource. Use it to ignite your energy and realize your dreams. Beautiful, right? I'm going to repeat it one more time. Your inner fire is your most powerful resource. Use it to ignite your energy and realize your dreams. From Paulo Coelho.